Hey guys, what's up? It's Greg Strzobasti with the Deepest Dream YouTube channel. For more movie interviews and reviews, please like this video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for your support. And yeah, it's a lot of movie reviews and interviews, but I'm also going to be covering down the road more TV interviews as well as reviews. So please subscribe. Would love to hear your feedback and recommendation on both movie recommendations and TV recommendations as well. So want to build up this community. I also have two podcasts which are housed on this channel. They are Cinematics and the Find Your Film podcast. So more on that stuff later. But first, Ghosted, starring Armas and Chris Evans, A-list actors. They're both charming as people. They've both been in wonderful films. Do they work together though? The answer is yes. They completely work as a couple, as a potential love interest couple in Ghosted, but Ghosted is not a romantic comedy. It has a little bit of a splash of it, but mainly it's an action comedy pretty much. And it's a high stakes action comedy with a lot of really interesting set pieces. So it's a really interesting movie in many ways. Two words describe for me Ghosted, and it's escapist fare. If you're looking for some lightweight confection escapist fare, this should be the movie to watch. It's close to 2 hours. Believe it's like 119 minutes. I don't have the actual running time with me, but it's a 2 hour movie almost as such. And overall, I was entertained. And it doesn't really, is it a deep, psychologically intense movie? It's not. Does it have something to say about the world? Not really. It just basically turn off your brain for a couple of hours, watch Ghosted, watch two wonderful people just make googly eyes at each other and flirt with each other and argue throughout the length of this narrative. If you like to see that banter as well as that sexual chemistry, they have it. They have a healthy amount of it between both of them. So it's Ghosted for me is a draw as far as an escapist fare, 2 hour. You're not going to think about it. And actually, after the movie, what's good about this movie, though, is it has a really cool rewatchability factor. And I'm going to get to that in a second. The simple premise is it's pretty much spoiler free. Chris Evans is a farmer. We're assuming once every week, he goes out into the suburbs of Washington, D.C. at farmer's market. He sells the wares of his family, like maybe plants or whatnot, or I don't know, whatever. I'm a city slicker, so whatever they grow on the farm. His dad is played by Tate Donovan. His mother is Amy Sedaris, and I believe, what's her name? Lizzie Broadway is his annoying, she's not annoying, she's wonderful. His sarcastic younger sister who always gives him a lot of what regarding his love life and his social life, et cetera, et cetera. Actually, the family of Chris Evans's character is a really interesting dynamic, and I wish there was a little bit more of that in Ghosted, but this is not a family comedy. So I just wanted more of Sedaris, Tate Donovan, and Lizzie Broadway in this film. But again, that would be a completely different movie. Most of this movie deals with the first act deals with Evans and Anna de Armas, their characters romancing each other, but for some reason, it's a meet cute situation. It's not a meet cute. She meets him at the farmer's market. They have sort of a little spat about how to take care of a plant. And since she doesn't know how to take care of like begonias or flowers because she's jet setting across the world, and she will leave her respective plant at her domicile for weeks on end, maybe even a month or two. So she needs a plant that she doesn't have to take care of. And then Chris Evans takes umbrage about this. And so it becomes this whole little argument, which turns into sort of an all-day first date. And it's a very romantic situation. All of this is pretty much inferred in the trailer. And ultimately he realizes that he might be ghosted because he's trying to call her after their wonderful first date, which lasted almost a day. And she's disappeared, and he thinks she might have ghosted him, but he has some kind of tracker on her phone or whatever, and it leads him, for some reason he can track her phone, and her phone is somewhere in central London. So he goes from his area in the outskirts of this farming community in Washington D.C., and then he goes out to central London to find her, and lo and behold, he discovers that I don't even know if the trailer mentions her position, but let's just say she's not a normal, wonderful girl next door type of person. She is Yeah, I think you can say she's. I don't even want to say specifically what she is. That's how spoiler free I want Ghost to be. But let's just say she kicks a lot of butt in this movie, and she's part of. She's a good person. Okay, that's I'll say that right now. She's a good person, and she's trying to her best to take down all the bad people who want this sort of this thing that could ruin that could cause mass destruction. You've heard this plot a million times before. This uh, this premise it will set itself is structured so we as viewers can watch a whole ton of action in this movie, and that is what Ghosted gives us. That we see about several really well done action pieces. There is one set within the mountains and a narrow road within. I'm not even going to mention this iconic area of the world where it's set in, but it's really beautifully executed with Evans and Anna Darmus. They're doing a great job, and they're being chased by all the baddies. Okay, all the baddies, and it's a sequence that even on a rewatch, I will go back and watch this action sequence. That moment, as well as the third act, as far is really well mounted action spectacles, and it's worth watching just on the base level for those two scenes. And as far as the banter and the dialogue, it's solid. It's solid enough banter, and you're not expecting much. This is pretty much a popcorn escapist adventure film. I mean, action film featuring two likable, charismatic A-list actors, and that's all you're going to get from Ghosted. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's splashes of really cool moments, which I wish there were more with Sedaris and Tate Donovan and Lizzie Broadway as his family. And maybe that will be tabled for if this movie's so successful, they'll do another Ghosted, like maybe Ghosted 2. I think probably this movie's a one-off. But look, this movie worked for me that I wouldn't mind seeing Anna Darmus and Chris Evans in another movie again, even if it's this movie. So I liked it all the way. There's not really anything complex about this movie. This is one of these things where you can watch at your home entertainment system, or even lying down on your bed on your iPad, just watching the film as your eyes glaze by. And it sounds negative for me to say stuff like this, but as just a base level, solid, entertaining movie, Ghosted works. My buddy over at Cinematics, Bruce Perky, has a completely different take on Ghosted. He's not going to give it the review I'm giving Ghosted, which I would say on a base level, this is a solid recommend for me. I would check it out based on the star value of Anna Darmus and Chris Evans, and also the interesting set pieces. As far as the action set pieces, there's also really different locations that are very beautiful and just varied. So this is just exactly, when you look at the trailer for Ghosted, you're probably thinking, oh, this is a movie that I don't have to think too much about, and I can just really let the movie entertain me, and I can be a passive participant in the proceedings. If you're thinking that, that's what you're going to get from Ghosted. If you're expecting something completely deeper than that, then you may be disappointed regarding Ghosted. But I was pleasantly surprised. I had low expectations based on my buddy Bruce Perky's review of Ghosted, and honestly, I recommend this movie on Apple TV Plus. It's out right now as we speak. No, wait. It's out on Friday. It's out on Friday, April 21st. Check it out. I did receive an early access from Apple TV Plus. Thanks to them for that. So my review for this film, I would give Ghosted out of 5 stars. I would give it 3.5 out of 5, which 3.5 for me means solid recommendation down the line. Nothing completely excellent or out of the ordinary, except those two aforementioned action sequences. That moment in the mountains is just a doozy, really worth it. But overall, yeah, solid recommend. I like Ghosted. Would love to hear it on the comments. Tell me if I'm completely wrong about Ghosted, if I should have liked it more, or maybe you absolutely hated the movie. Okay, so tell me what you think on Ghosted, Apple TV Plus, Anna Jarmus, Chris Evans, love Amy Sedaris, and Tate Donovan, and Lizzie Broadway. She's an up-and-coming actress. She's very, very good in the movie as well. And oh, before I forget, there's not a big spoiler. One of the things that is cool, but then a little bit of a minor complaint, there are a ton of cameos in this movie, just a ton of cameos. And throughout most of the narrative, there's a section where it's really welcome, and I liked it, and I laughed a couple of times, and I thought it was pretty cool. But then there was a moment where, and I'm not going to say what part of the narrative is, there is a very really cool cameo that I feel should not have been placed at that moment in time, because it just took me out of the actual scene. And I'm not going to say what part of the movie it's in, but I don't know. I would love to hear what you think of a certain cameo, which I love that actor or actress who is in that cameo, but just for that timing, just did not work for me personally. But overall, yeah, 3.5 out of 5. Ghosted. Tell me what you think. Thanks again, Deepest Dream. Please subscribe, subscribe, and thank you for your support. Talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye.